Whatever. Okay, I just want to say this because I just watched the Lotto and Cardi B. I guess this was a diss track. I don't actually know who the diss track was for, like who they're dissing. But I talked about this before when I talked about what's happening in the Somali community at Somali Culture Night when there was like a fight or whatever. And like when people start to say things like that, like the whole song, like I don't really know who they're talking about. I've read that they're talking about Nicki Minaj. That's fine. I'm just saying that I think that, dear black girl who's watching this, I used to be in a place too where like other black women would just criticize things that I've done. They would be like, oh my God, you text messaged this boy. You shouldn't have done that. You are a slut or something for doing that, like for sending a text message. Or like, you went to coffee with like this guy. Oh my God, you whore. And it's like, you get to a point where it's like everything you do, like there's going to be some girl who's going to criticize it and who's going to call you like a mean name for doing that thing. And there's only so many things that you can do or not do, right? And so they're also like boasting about like all of the like money that they have now, and then all of the money that men have spent on them, and just all of the money, right? And I saw this too when Moneybags Yo, maybe I'll find this video and we could do like a where I will talk through my opinion about it. But so Moneybags Yo has some song, the new song where he's like, oh, models are waiting on off the plane for me, wanting to have sex with me. And like, that doesn't sound like, that just doesn't sound, it makes sex sound violent. And I just want to say, like, especially if you are a model out there and like you believe that, like, I don't know, having this man who basically is flaunting around like how much he hates like nobody who loves something, like if I loved gummy bears, right? And I like gummy bears. I don't love gummy bears, but like let's say I loved gummy bears. Why would I go around making hate songs about gummy bears? Be serious. Like when somebody likes gummy bears, how does it look? They're like, oh, yay, gummy bears. No, black people, black women and black men alike are not saying that about any other black women. Like every single song, like if this is a diss record about Nicki Minaj, it's like a hate record. And there's so many people in there like supporting it. Like everybody's like laughing, everybody's like tossing money. I'm sorry, this is like demon work. And especially it's like really strange because like the women who it's coming from. Cardi B is like an ex-stripper. If she's talking about like somebody who's been ran through, it's her. And then it's like, if you're talking about Lotto, like I'm not sure about this because I just don't follow like too closely, but I saw like T with B posted a video a couple of weeks ago where 21 Savage has gone back to his wife. First of all, I didn't even know 21 Savage was married. Looks like he is. And so he like left Lotto and went back to his wife. And now Lotto is talking again. Every song that Lotto makes is about like how much she like uses men and just gets them to spend their money on her. There are men in the real world who are actually spending that money on her. I'm not really mad at her as a person who does support like women having things. Like I'm glad that like Lotto has things. But also like I think I just want you guys to put it into perspective, like why you probably should tune out from this narrative altogether and how it's actually like not beneficial, and how really there was a part in the video where Lotto's like, you should go back on your meds, or she's like laughing about people who have like mental health issues. Like, and you know, Candace Owens talks about this quite a lot about how like, basically like pop culture and media are ruining society for little girls, because like little girls are looking at Lotto and Cardi B and they're getting ideas about how they want to live, decisions that they want to make, all of these things from things that Lotto and Cardi B said. Like, little girls who look like them are going to do the things that they do. Like, they both, like, Cardi B has daughters. Her daughters are going to look at her and be like, okay, this is what you did. And, you know, for a while, I didn't realize, like, how big of an impact that was. And I also want to be there on both sides. Like, I really hope that Nicki, if this is a diss record to Nicki Minaj, I hope that as a parent, like Nicki Minaj, especially, I've got to say, like, of all the rappers that I've seen, Nicki Minaj is extremely talented. She's extremely talented. And I really feel like she could take this opportunity to respond in a way where she, like, maybe, like, acknowledges, like, the impact that a song like that has on her. Like, maybe, like, her honest feelings about it. But not in a way where she's getting back at Lotto or degrading Lotto or Cardi B, but instead is, like, talking about maybe, like, her feelings about them saying those things about her. Because to me, like, the song wasn't about me, I don't think. No, right? Like, but, like, I feel offended by the song. And then the other funny thing is, like, there's all of these black guys who are in the video, and they're, like drinking and, like, laughing about it. And this is what I mean. It's like, you know how Kevin Hart made that stand-up comedy that was, like, laugh at my pain. It's like, man, you could really be suffering, and, like, a lot of people just, like, really won't care. They will just look at, like, anything that you've done in your life that, like, they think is, like, not good, and they are gonna laugh. And that's, like, most black men. And, like, I want to say too, because I heard about this, and it just made me feel some kind of way. There was, like, there's this thing going on in the South where, like, black women are having Beyonce syndrome. That's what I called it. Where basically, like, everyone thinks that they're, like, so great. And to an extent, like, people are great. But I just have an issue when, like, people walk through the world, like, as though they're Beyonce. Because I think that you should have confidence if you have, like, accolades. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have worked really hard to get something and then you've got something, you should be proud that you have something. But some people are walking around, especially women are walking around with, like, purity politics falsehood or, like, body count falsehoods where they're like, I'm not saying that, like, if you haven't been a whole slut or whatever, then you should be, like, feeling bad about yourself. But also, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense to compare, like, your sex life to another woman's sex life. Like, you don't actually know from talking to somebody if they've slept with one person or if they slept with 3 people or 100 people. Like, you actually don't know unless you talk to that person. And either way, like, that woman most likely has, like, made a decision about doing that for herself. So, like, it's not really a diss. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't know, I guess it just makes me think, it makes me want to take a step back and really, like, encourage black women to be a little bit more skeptical about, like, the content and the media and the messaging that you're putting in. Specifically because there was, like, nobody was there to, like, tell me this. And black women, like, I don't know what it is, but they will go with the crowd. Like, they will watch just perversion go out every day and they won't say anything. Like, no, it really feels like no one cares. Because, like, they'll just be like, yeah, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, but I'm not listening, so I don't care. I have to worry about myself. And it comes to a point where, like, you have to realize that we live in a society. Like, we live in a society. And, like, that means that, like, when you do something, it's going to impact other people. Whether you like it or not, like, other people are going to be affected by your actions. And that can be a little bit hard because you don't feel, like, responsibility for the way that, like, you make someone else feel, or the way that, like, I don't know. clearly like Lotto and Cardi B have like made this song and they feel these ways right now, and maybe that's not a bad thing for them to like get on and like express how they feel. But as another person who's like in society, I would want to say like I'm not a fan of either of these ladies. I personally don't have any respect for either of these women. And like I think it's like weird, especially in the society that we live right now, when like so many people are dealing with like immense trauma. Like I've talked to you guys about how like one of my coworkers is living with the two Ukrainian models who had to come over because like their whole country is being bombed away. So they are actually suffering from a lot of mental health issues and trauma. Really anyone who's like dealing with like maybe like the loss of a family member because of whatever, you're probably also dealing with a loss, and so you might be struggling with your mental health too. And I just don't think it's funny that these women think that it's funny to make fun of that. But you know, like just like time, like sooner or later both of them will probably reap the karma that they are just begging for, where we will watch them suffer a severe loss, and they will finally be able to process like just the mental health issues, right, that come with life. It just life is like life is complicated, and no matter how much confidence that you have, it just is. I don't know. I would just also like to be clear, like, I wonder, like, whoever the women are who they're, like, you know, talking about, maybe that's the issue. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's just not, like, but to me, it's just a problem because so many little black girls, they don't have, like, another thing to watch. Like that is the current, you know, like video that's supposed that the little black girls are supposed to like watch, and it just seems kind of pathetic, really. And oh, there was something else that I wanted to say, and I want to explain this. So sometimes as a woman, you go through this phase, as a black woman, let's be clear, you go through this phase where you're like, oh, like you might be in a relationship with someone, right? And then like they do something that's like really shitty, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna just end this relationship because I don't really like it. I don't think it's good. Okay, so then you end that relationship, and then you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to be in any relationships anymore. Instead, I'm gonna be like optimistic and believe that like the next person will be better. The problem is when you're dealing with black men, none of them are better. They're actually not better at all. Like all of them are just shitty. And the other weird part about this, and to me it keeps happening in these ways that are like shocking. So there's this like community like nonsense, really, where like one person tells a story, right? Like one like so you're thinking like, oh, everybody out here is an individual. That's not true. Like if you're talking about black men, that's not true at all. Like it's basically like all of them collectively as like a global whole in the world. So like one black man is representative of all black men. Like Jason Neely, the one who got in the train and was like, I'm gonna kill you. Basically all black men probably think like that. Like have one day though they do something, that's how they feel. Like it's all of them. Like I too used to be like, no, like they're individuals. And then like through reinforcement learning, like I have now come to understand that ain't true. Okay, so the point here is like, you might be in this space still where you're like, oh my God, like the next guy will be better. So like, let me try to be like kind to the next guy. And then it's like, okay, he'll start to show the same behaviors that the guy before showed you. And you're like, wait, but that wasn't good. That I shouldn't have done that. Like, don't do that. That was bad. And then like, you probably should listen to your intuition and be like, he's not good because he's probably not good. And then the other thing that's like very strange is like through all of these like songs and stuff, I'm really starting to understand like these men don't see women, especially black women, as like humans or anything. They're almost like black women are like casino tokens where they can just like keep using them over and over. They can be nice, they'll spend $1, $2, maybe no dollars. And they'll get some experience. Oh, it'll be like a kiss. Oh, it'll be like just an outing, right? It'll be something. And they'll be like, oh, this is great. I got this. I got this. And then they'll go tell all their friends, oh, I got this. Oh, blah, 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 I got this. Because they're just like little monkeys. Like, it's like, let me go tell him exactly the thing that, like, she told me. So there's no sort of, like, this idea of, like, oh, I'm having this conversation with, like, this person, and now this is between us. No, it's actually between, you are talking to his entire community. So you have to, like, realize that as you are, like, talking to these men. Like, whatever you do or say to him, you are saying it to all of his friends, all of his relatives, his father, his grandfather, his dead uncle, like, whatever it is. So maybe protect yourself and just say nothing. Like, saying nothing is actually the safest route. Like, having no interaction is like the best route. Just like block, unfollow, like say nothing, because then there's no experience. Now his like the guys in the video who we're talking about, this like Lotto and Cardi B video, all of the things that they're saying, like, there's not some other, whoever they're talking about isn't there. So they're just telling the stories from their own perspective. Like, whatever it is that they said, I don't understand all the insults and the slams or whatever. But also just remember this, like, whoever they're talking about, that person too has a perspective. If you know who they're talking about, just literally go find that person, because maybe they're not a rapper. Like, everyone doesn't believe in mumbo jumbo raps. Like, most people, common people, don't listen to rap. Some people do. Like, rap is popular for like high school students or something, and like whoever else is like a Lotto fan. But like, there's a very large proportion of the world who is not listening to rap. They're just not. In America, though, yes, like, don't get me wrong, it is popular music. There's a lot of people who are listening to it, but it is not everybody, and it is not most people. And trust me, there's quite a lot of people with sense who see this shit and see how, like, toxic it is for society in general. And there's probably, like, a growing number of us who, you know, those little restrictive labels that they used to put on, like, the rap CDs where they're like, this is explicit, don't listen to this, not meant for children. This is why. Because I can't even, man, I guess, like, sometimes you just long for like a simpler time. You just long for a simpler time. You just do. I don't know. Like I said, I just want everyone to just be, not everyone, if you're subscribed to my channel and you're interested in my worldview, okay, I'm just saying, like, whoever it is that they're talking about, they too have a response video, and they don't need to put it out in a rap song. As a person who's like, I feel like I'm not even a part of this narrative, but like, I could just give you the other side of this. Like, that's an awful way to like handle conflict or comebacks. Like, if you really think about it, like, the people who are, do you see like Bill Gates out here like flashing hundreds and mopping up money? No. And he's like 1 billion times richer than Cardi B and Lotto. I'm not saying that these women are broke, but I'm also saying, like, maybe take the value out of the money. I think it's nice to have a lot of money, but just get to a space in your life where you've taken the value out of the money, because these women make the money look valueless. And I never thought that I would be the person to say that, as much as I like money. Like, I don't want to spend money in ways that they're spending it. Like, if they like shopping, I don't like shopping anymore. If they like air, I'd rather not breathe.